MYRKUL, Lord of Bones, is one of the best commanders to come out of 2022. This 7 mana Abzan commander has indestructible if you have less than or equal to your starting life total, and whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of it, except it is an enchantment and loses all other card types. So what's the game plan? Ramp, sack, protect, and win. We're going to ramp into our commander, and using sacrifice outlets, we're going to turn creatures with powerful static abilities into enchantments and drain our opponents out of the game. We've also got a couple of combos, which we'll go over later. First up, there's ramping. We're running the classic suite of Mana Dorks, Llanowar Elves, Findhorn Elves, Elvish Mystic, Avacyn's Pilgrim, Birds of Paradise, and even Elves of Deep Shadow, all of which tap for a single mana of the colours in our deck. In addition, we have Sanctum Weaver that can generate a ton of mana thanks to everything turning into an enchantment. An important thing to remember is that an enchantment doesn't get summoning sickness, so if we manage to turn one of these mana creatures into an enchantment thanks to MYRKUL, we can use their mana abilities straight away. And of course the most important mana dork we have is Devoted Druid. For just 2 mana we get a 0/2 that can tap for a green, and then at any time we can put a -1/-1 counter on it to untap it. With MYRKUL in play, we can then look to generate infinite green mana. We can simply use Devoted Druid's untap ability straight away to put itself into the graveyard and turn it into an enchantment. As I mentioned, enchantments don't get summoning sickness, nor do they get affected by -1/-1 counters. Now that we've ramped into our commander, it's time to start putting things into the graveyard. There are a number of ways that you can do this. You can use creatures with free sacrifice outlets such as Carrion Feeder, Viscera Seer, and Woestrider. Artifacts such as Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar. You can even use Skull Clamp to generate some card advantage while you're at it. We're also running the budget-friendly Survival of the Fittest, Evolutionary Leap. With all of these creatures going to the graveyard, we're taking full advantage of Zulaport Cutthroat, Blood Artist, and Cruel Celebrant. These creatures will help us stay alive while draining our opponents out of the game. And with all of these enchantments entering the battlefield, utilizing the Constellation mechanic was a no-brainer. Constellation is a triggered ability that triggers when an enchantment enters the battlefield. The core ones we're running are Stessian's Champion and Eidolon of Blossoms for card draw, Doomwake Giant for board wipes, and Nessian Wanderer to hit lands. And while they don't specifically have Constellation, they effectively have the same ability. Both Ajani's Chosen and Archon of Sun's Grace generate creatures when enchantments come into play, which is just more fodder for Blood Artist and friends. There are more Constellation cards you can use, but I'll leave that up to you to explore those options. Now here's the part of the deck that is the most customizable, the utility creatures. Again, we're looking for creatures with powerful static abilities to take advantage of. Here are some of the key ones that I'll be playing. We've got Avacyn, Angel of Hope to make everything indestructible, Fountain Watch to give your enchantments Shroud, Aven Mind Sensor to restrict your opponents for being able to search for answers, Dranith Magistrate to stop commanders from being cast and other annoying spells, Gissa Glorious Resurrector to take opponents' creatures and turn them into enchantments. There's also Wandering Archaic to tax and potentially copy our opponent's spells. There are a whole heap of others that you can use. Use the ones that best suit your playgroup's meta. To support all of these token enchantments, we've got added bonuses from Anointed Procession, Second Harvest, Sphere of Safety, Sterling Grove, and Starfield of Nyx. Do not sleep on these cards. To round out the deck, we have a handful of removal spells and board wipes. Again, chop and change these out to suit your group's meta. As for combos, we're focusing on turning Devoted Druid into an enchantment. Once we've done that, we have unlimited power. The most basic way to win is simply cast a massive Torment of Hellfire or Exsanguinate. Otherwise, you can simply dump all of your mana into Destiny Spinner and turn all of your lands into creatures. If you've got the money, Craterhoof Behemoth and Finale of Devastation can also assist Destiny Spinner with the win. You could also think about adding Walking Ballista to the deck for the same reason. And since we're running Blood Artist and Friends, you can also combine Animate Dead and Leonin Relic Warder for infinite pings. And finally, how do we beat this deck? Well, there are two ways. Exiling graveyards and stopping cards from going there. Path to Exile and Resting Peace are two good examples of this. And then there's also enchantment board wipes, like Cleansing Nova, Dismantling Wave, and All is Dust. Just watch out for those Blood Artist triggers though. And that about does it for this deck tech. I hoped you liked the video. Be sure to leave a like if it helped you out. There is a link to the full deck list in the description down below. What commanders would you like to see next? Be sure to leave a comment and let me know. And that's about it. Have a good night, guys, and I'll see you next time.